I'm currently on the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, which, as you know, I'm one of 11 members that makes the decision about charter schools, Commonwealth charter schools all across the state. I think in terms of governance, we need to turn that over to locally elected school committee members, and also to increase the transparency of all the financial aspects like our core public schools have to do. Right now, the only thing that is public about charter schools, frankly, is the funding, which comes from public taxpayers. And we really need to adjust the charter school law so that it is in step with the way things are being run today. 25 years ago is a different story, and now it's a wedge, a major wedge that drives privatization and corporate control of public education. And so governance, that's one thing. And funding-wise, we need to, because of the challenges with charter schools and our core public schools, it's really creating a kind of a crisis in many districts because the foundation budget isn't up to the level it needs to be all across the state. So those special in those districts and gateway communities and in rural communities. So you know, the charter school piece was picked up a couple of sessions ago, and the legislature took it up again last session. I don't know when the legislature will feel the urgency to take it up again, but it's something that I'm committed to, and I look forward to bringing that forward in the legislature.
It is incredibly important to close the achievement gap in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We can all agree on that. And my heart sinks when I talk with parents in Boston who feel that the only chance their kids are going to have to get ahead and get an education is sending them to a charter school. I've been involved in the debate over the last decade on closing that achievement gap. And the only thing that we have debated, whether or not to close the achievement gap, is through raising the cap on charter schools. That's not the way to close the achievement gap. The way to close the achievement gap is by addressing poverty. That's the way we do it. It's about workforce training. It's about public higher education access for parents. It's about increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour. It's about allowing people to get ahead. But that's the only thing we've discussed, is to raise the cap on charter schools. And the reason we can't do that is because it directly takes the funding from Chapter 70, the funding that's used to educate public schools. What we need to do, and what I'm so proud about, was I was one of the original sponsors of the Foundation Budget Review Commission that said that we are underfunding public education $500 million every year, especially in the areas of health insurance, especially in the areas of special education. We need to fund education. That's why I'm so supportive of the fully implementing the recommendations of the Foundation Budget Review Commission and passing the Fair Share Amendment, which I voted on last term, to raise $2 billion in revenue for education and transportation. But we need to get the funding formula for charter schools right. I voted against both bills. I think I was one of 7 Democrats that voted no, because it's the wrong message to send, and it's wrong to do that to our public school teachers who work so hard with the lack of resources to do the job. We need to give them the resources. Thank you.
I think it's interesting. I mean, certainly as a public school teacher, an elementary school teacher for 6 years, I know what it's like to be in a classroom, and I know what the issues that teachers face are. You know, we've been back and forth on the charter school piece, and what I have come to realize is we're comparing apples and oranges. If we really want to understand whether charter schools work or don't work, all we need to do is level the playing field. We need to have charter schools run by the same exact rules and regulations as our public schools do. Okay? They got to take everybody who comes. They can't kick somebody out because their parent couldn't show up for a parent-teacher conference. They are transparent about their funding. They have to deal with the issues of testing and teachers' service the same way that our public schools have to. So we're not comparing apples and oranges. We're comparing public schools with private schools, because that's fundamentally what a charter school is, except we pay for it. So we need to go back to the actual statute, which says we are going to create a set of charter schools as laboratories to inform public education and best practices. And until we actually do that, and we have an absolute playing field that's level, where everybody's playing for this, by the same rules, then maybe we can have a conversation. But until then, we cannot lift the cap on charter schools. Public education needs to be public.